Millions of Ukrainians have fled their war-ravaged country. This is Europe's worst refugee crisis since the World War II. Now, the European Union's quick hospitality has been applauded by many, but it is in stark contrast to its treatment of Syrian refugees in 2015. Over the last few years, Europe's migration policies have been toughened. They even built a wall to keep the refugees from entering the bloc, thus earning the name Fortress Europe. So what is different now? Is it really the so-called Europeanness of the refugees? In our next story, we decode the racist nature of Europe's response to the crisis. Crowded train stations. People walking for hundreds of kilometers. Freezing temperatures, long lines at the borders, and a journey like no other. Millions are fleeing Ukraine to escape the war. In the last few days, over 3 million have left Ukraine, taking refuge in the neighboring nations. It is Europe's biggest refugee crisis since the World War II, and the bloc has responded swiftly. New laws have been made for Ukrainian refugees. Border controls have been eased, and countries welcome them with open arms. But let's rewind back to 2015. Around 1.3 million people sought asylum in Europe. Most of them were from Syria, Afghanistan, and Nigeria. Do you remember how the West reacted? They shut their borders. They herded the refugees like cattle. And they branded them as terrorists. Europe's welcome to the Ukrainians has been lauded, as it should be. But why just Ukraine? Why not other countries? This because, according to EU leaders, Ukrainians are Europeans. Hence, they get the red carpet. We are not the only ones saying this. The Western media is full of such racist reportage.
It's very emotional for me because I see European people with blue eyes and blonde hair being killed.
These are not refugees from Syria. These are Christians, they're white, they're very similar.
This is not a developing third world nation. This is Europe.
These are prosperous middle-class people. These are not obviously refugees trying to get away from areas in the Middle East.
Like Iraq or Afghanistan, this is a relatively civilized, relatively European city where you wouldn't expect that or hope that it's going to happen.
It's not just the Western media that is biased. It is the West itself. When Europeans are affected, the war must be stopped. When people in West Asia or Africa are affected, it is a war for liberation, for freedom. Their lives are dispensable. Here's what the Bulgarian Prime Minister said about the refugees. Quote, "These people are intelligent, they are educated people. This is not the refugee wave we have been used to. People we were not sure about their identity, people with unclear pasts, who could have been even terrorists." So the anti-migrant rhetoric of Europe is selective. Their idea of war is biased. When they wage on, it is for liberation and democracy. When others do it, it is a crime. But the point here is, war is bad no matter what. A refugee is a refugee, irrespective of their skin color or where they came from. But what this war in Ukraine has shown us is this: some lives are more valuable than others. West Asia Bureau, WION World is One.